Family, welcome back to my channel. So today for you guys I have some Dollar Tree Glam Decor Christmas DIYs. I have to hold Cooper right now because I'm watching him and he's just making too much noise. So if I hold him, he'll stop for at least the intro. Anyways, I do have a bunch of Dollar Tree DIYs like I said to share with you guys. If you like the video, please make sure you give it a thumbs up, especially since we got glitter all over the house making these DIYs for you guys. Also, if you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe and click the bell button so you're notified every single time that I upload. Okay, let's begin this. This is going to be a short intro because Mama needs to attend to Crazy Koopy.
Let's start with a floral box. From Dollar Tree, I picked up 11 of these 4x4 gold glitter picture frames. Now I'm going to be attaching 3 of them together, all side by side, and then I take one picture frame and I attach it so that it's the smaller sides of the box. So when the box is upright, it's the left and right side. So I'm going to do this 2 times, attach 3 together and then place the side, but you want to make sure when you're placing the smaller side, you do one on the left side and then one on the right side. You also want some things on hand to keep the picture upright as you wait for the glue to dry. I'm using Gorilla Glue. You want to use a heavy duty glue, whether it be Gorilla Glue E6000, Super Glue. You can use hot glue, but you know, it might fall apart on you when you're moving it around just because you're using hot glue to glue picture frames together, and a bunch of them at that. You want to wait for the glue to completely dry before you start attaching those 2 pieces or 2 sets that you made together. Before I attach anything, I go ahead and remove the backing off of the picture frame so the picture frames stand. Now I take the 2 sets that I made and I glue them together, and then after they're glued together, I again just use some things to kind of hold it in place as the glue dries. And then I attach some glue to the top of it and I put down 3 more picture frames. So this part's actually going to be the bottom of my little floral piece. It's going to keep everything in place. Again, you want to wait for the glue to completely dry before you move on to the next step. So after the glue is completely dry, you can then add mirrors. Now you can take out the picture that is inside of the picture frame and do whatever the heck you want with it, whether it's like add a cardstock or an image to it, but I'm going to be using mirrors. So I got these little square mirrors from Dollar Tree and I'm just gluing them to the front of the frames, and I used hot glue to do this. It's okay to use hot glue with the mirror, it's not going to fall off, but attaching the picture frames, you want something more sturdy. Next up, I'm using some square craft styrofoam that I got from Dollar Tree. I used quite a few pieces to fill up the inside of my floral box. You don't have to do this, but the nice thing about having that foam in there is it makes it easier to make the inside of the box look fuller with less stems of the floral pieces. So once I have all my styrofoam in place, I start to add my floral pieces. I'm going to start off with these really pretty gold flowers that I got from Dollar Tree. I had to use some wire cutters to take each individual flower off, and then I removed the leaves off of them. And then I'm also going to be using this really pretty gold glittery holly berry, also from Dollar Tree, and I did the same thing. I took them off of the stem. I then start to add the flowers to my little floral box. The flowers that I use inside of this, they're like a champagne gold color and then almost like a rose gold. You want to look out for that if you're trying to do the way that I did it, because they do carry ones that are straight up gold, and I didn't realize it honestly when I was choosing my flowers, and then I had to get rid of those because I didn't want them inside of this. So kind of be on the lookout for that if you don't want the straight gold ones. You're looking more for the champagne white colors or the ones that are almost like a rose gold. After I got all of my flowers inside, I went ahead and added these really pretty birds from Dollar Tree. They have like the prettiest feathers in the back. They carry these birds in a bunch of different colors. I think they're so pretty. Next up, I'm using these stems. There's 3 balls on each stem. I got them for $1.50 each on sale at Hobby Lobby, and I went ahead and I added that as well. I just added 2 of them, one to the right side, and then I just kind of spaced out the balls, and then one to the left side and spaced it out so it kind of looks like the balls were like on individual picks rather than one. Now I'm taking this really pretty gold snowflake ornament and gluing it to the front of my box. If this is going to be a box that's going to be like a centerpiece, you might want to add one more of those ornaments to the other side. I didn't do that because it's only going to be seen from the front. And that's it for this really pretty glam floral box using Dollar Tree products. Obviously it doesn't have to be for just Christmas time. There are things that you can add to this or take away to be for any holiday. So I picked up some white and cream color roses from Dollar Tree. I would have preferred to have all of the same color, but I can only find cream and white, enough of them, which honestly I still didn't have enough. I eventually had to go out again to get more. So what you do is you take the roses off of the stem that they are on, and then each rose you want to cut so that the back of it is kind of as flat as you can get it to be without the petals falling out, and this just makes it easier to glue. I couldn't find enough white roses at Dollar Tree, so I ended up having to go to Michael's, and I found this garland. It was on sale for 40% off plus an extra 20% off of sale items, so I got it for super cheap. It's actually cheaper to just go to Michael's and get those, but because I'm trying to do Dollar Tree stuff, I'm using the Dollar Tree flowers mixed with the Michael stuff. So what you want to do is you want to get a piece of foam board from Dollar Tree, and then you're going to start gluing your flowers to that foam board. So I was kind of spacing out the Dollar Tree flowers at first because I knew I just didn't have enough for this, and then I was just going to mix the Michael's flowers in between the spacing of the Dollar Tree flowers. And because I had white and cream colored flowers, I also tried to do a mixture of both. I didn't want to do just white flowers in one spot and just cream color flowers in another spot because it was just going to look funny. So I was making sure I was mixing it all together. I took advantage of the greenery that was on my Michael's garland, and I added that too to help fill spaces. If you want it to be all white roses, you can go ahead and do that. It's just very hard to find that many roses at one Dollar Tree. You have to go to multiple Dollar Trees. With the 7 bundles that I had gotten from Dollar Tree and the Michael's garland, I was trying my best to make that fit with just one piece of foam board, and it did not. So you can see that the video footage is starting to get darker here because this was one day, and then the next day I went out to another Dollar Tree, try to find more flowers. I was able to find 5 more bundles of flowers at a different Dollar Tree, and then I just went to Michael's again and got another garland, and with that I was able to fully cover one piece of foam board. This entire thing cost me around 20 bucks to make, and I actually made it before for my gender reveal. Instead though, it had a boy or girl balloons from Dollar Tree. Anyways, next up I'm taking this Merry Christmas gold glittery sign from Dollar Tree, and I am gluing it to the floral pieces just using my hot glue gun. I decided I wanted this to have a little bit more gold in it, so I got the champagne gold colored flowers. I had 2 of the bundles and I took them all off and then attached them to my picture. Sorry, I can hear Cooper crying in the background, so my brain's kind of going elsewhere. Yeah, I start attaching them to the rest of the floral picture. That's it for this floral backdrop picture, whatever you want to call it. You can make it as big as you like, as small as you like. You can change it around to suit your budget. For our next DIY, I'm going to be using 5 of the square mirrors from Dollar Tree in wooden cubes. Now, you do not need to use wooden cubes. The main reason I did this was for time. Because I do have a baby at home, I can only really do things when he's napping, so I don't really have enough time to be waiting around for E6000 to dry. I was able to wait around that first DIY you saw because his grandmother was taking care of him. So this time around when I was filming, he was just taking a nap. So the reason I had the wooden cubes was so that I can use them to attach all the mirrors together really quickly without having to wait for E6000 to dry. So I just attached glue on each side of the mirrors that I was attaching together, and then placing down those wooden pieces so that way it was holding all of the mirrors together. Again, you don't have to do this, but if you're somebody who's on a time crunch or you just don't want to wait for glue to completely dry, you can do it this way to hold all the mirrors together. Oh, and one more thing, because people are going to be like, well, why wouldn't you just glue the mirrors directly to each other? If you're trying to do that with hot glue, this thing's going to fall apart on you. You need something that's really secure and going to hold it all together. If you just try to use hot glue to attach all the mirrors together only, go ahead and do that and you'll see what I mean. It's going to fall apart on you. Next up, I'm putting some styrofoam inside of my box. I had to use the circle one because I ran out of the square ones. Then I'm taking these really pretty floral picks that I got from Hobby Lobby for $1.50 each. Only 50 cents more than what you're going to pay for something from Dollar Tree, and these are just much nicer. I'm using 6 of them in my box, and then I'm going to add some of these glittery pine cones from Dollar Tree. I'm just scattering them around here and there. And I top this off with a reindeer ornament from Dollar Tree, and I just place it on the top. You can glue it in if you like to. And that's it for this pretty mirrored box. I love this one. This is probably one of my more favorite ones. Love the way that it looks, and I really love the colors of this. Let's do something easy for the wall. From Dollar Tree, I picked up this framed mirror. I really like the design on it. There's different designs, and they carry them in white and in black. Next up, I'm taking this snowflake ornament, and I'm going to be gluing it to the middle of the picture frame. But before I do that, I kind of see like where exactly the ornament touches the framing, so I know where to put the glue exactly, because I don't want to put the glue in a spot where nothing's touching it and then I just got glue showing. Next up, I'm taking these jewel border gems, also from Dollar Tree. They carry them in a bunch of different colors, but I got this silver and white pearl one. And I'm just going to place them around the picture frame, so just around the border of the picture frame. That's it for this DIY. I don't have any final shots of it because I accidentally deleted the footage I have of that, and I gave this to my mother, so I no longer have it on hand. So this is what you're gonna see. I still think it's pretty, even though you can't entirely see it, like with different decor around it. Next up, I picked up a bunch of gold ornaments from Dollar Tree, as well as this rose goldish copper, don't really know exactly which one it is, charger that I also picked up from Dollar Tree. And I'm actually going to be making a wreath out of this. So I start to first glue on these ornaments around the outer portion of the charger. Now these are the medium sized ones that they carry. They carry a large, medium, and small. These are the medium sized ones. And I'm just gluing them all around. I then start to mix in some of that glittery gold hollyberry. I didn't need a lot of stems of those for this. I just took them off of the main stem, and then I just placed them in between the ornaments. You could obviously do this however you like, with whatever color you like. And Dollar Tree does carry a bunch of different color chargers, and ones with different textures, like a wood grain kind and one that's a little bit more bubbly. There's different ones to choose from. And then I start to add even smaller gold ornaments. Dollar Tree actually, okay, so I should rephrase this. In the little like 2-package ones, they carry a large, medium, and small. And then near kind of like, I don't even know where to put it, like the tiny Christmas tree garland, there are even smaller ornaments that you can pick up. I actually wish I had a little bit more of the smaller ornaments to add around the outer portion of this. I just kind of ran out. And finally, I take one of these small Merry Christmas ornaments. They came in a 5-pack from Dollar Tree, and I just glued one of them to the middle of my wreath, and then I made a freaking wreath out of a plate charger. I think it's really, really nice, this one. My mother actually asked if she could keep this, so that's who it's going to. Okay, we're gonna move on to this Christmas tree. From Dollar Tree, I picked up a Christmas tree and I spray painted it gold. And then I'm gonna be using these small little flower pieces that I got from Dollar Tree. I went ahead and I took them off of the main stem, and then I just started to glue them all over the tree. I forgot to mention, I did wrap some garland around the tree before spray painting it to make it look more full, and I just used garland that I got from Dollar Tree. Next up, I'm using this really pretty glittered ribbon from Dollar Tree. It's this pretty pink color, and I cut just little strips of it off and then just kind of feed it through the tree. Dollar Tree does carry ribbons similar to this. It's just you got to be able to find it at your local Dollar Tree. And honestly, Walmart pricing compared to Dollar Tree pricing, it's very similar. It might be a little bit more expensive, but it's still, in my opinion, more bang for your buck anyhow. Next up, I took this tree skirt from Walmart. It was $3.98, and I just placed it at the bottom. This part I don't think was necessary. It was just one that I had that matched everything. Next up, I'm going to be gluing on some ornaments. I got these gold ones, obviously from Dollar Tree, and these are the smaller sized ones I was talking about, where I told you guys there's a large, a medium, and small. These are the small ones, and then there's like an extra small one that you guys saw me just use on that one wreath. I'm going to be taking some pearls from Dollar Tree. They carry those in 3 different sizes as well. These are like the medium size ones. And I ended up gluing those to my tree as well. So it's got this like glam, shabby chic vibe to it. Also kind of like vintage at the same time. But you know, if you're not into that look, you can always take the pearls off of it or just do something else. Finally, I took one of those gold snowflake ornaments and I glued it to the top of the tree, so it's my tree topper. And that was it for this Christmas tree, which my mother actually asked if she could keep, and I let her keep that one. And then my dad called me asking me if I did that, and I said yeah, and he said it was really nice, which is rare of my dad to do. He doesn't really call me to tell me my creations are nice. He thinks they're nice, but he doesn't call me and go out of his way to tell me that. Next up, we're going to be making some ornament topiaries. From Dollar Tree, you want to pick up some of their candlestick holders. I'm going to be using 4 of them, and 2 of them I glued together to make one larger candlestick holder. Then you're going to pick up some of the jumbo ornaments from Dollar Tree, and you're going to glue them to the candlestick holders. I glued 1 to one of the holders, 2 to the other 2 holders. I did wish that I had more of the candlestick holders so I can have 3 of them glued to each other, then 2 of them glued to each other, and then just 1. If I had more candlestick holders, I would have varied the height of all of the candlestick holders. I would have did 3, 2, and 1. But I only had 4 on hand, so I made 2 of them similar to each other. And if you're watching this footage and you have an eagle eye and notice that my glue gun wasn't on, that's because right here you see the footage is kind of different. I recorded it and then accidentally deleted the part where I'm filming the rest of this, so I had to redo it and I had to hurry up, and I'm just pretending to glue in the footage you just saw. So yes, my glue gun wasn't on. Next up, we're going to do a tiered tray. From Dollar Tree, you want to pick up some candle holders or candle pillars. I'm using the pillars as well as some plates. I'm going to be using 3 white plates. They are 2 different sizes though. There's a bigger one and a smaller one, and they're like a square shape but with rounded out edges. So what I'm doing is I'm taking the pillars and gluing them to the plates to create the tiers. So I did a 3-tier tray. Next up, I'm taking this reindeer ornament and gluing it to the top of the tier tray. I then start to add some white glittery floral fillers. I just go ahead and place them all around the tier tray. Honestly, with this tier tray, I had no clue what direction I was going to go in. Initially, I wanted to make this just a 2-tier tray, but when I was gluing everything together, I completely forgot to do that. And instead, I had smaller sections between each tier, so I couldn't do what I originally wanted to do. For some reason, the glue really stuck to this that I used. It was Gorilla Glue sticks, and it really held this together, and I couldn't like break it apart, so I was stuck doing it like this. Now I'm going to decorate with some of the Dollar Tree snowflakes. They carry them in a bunch of different colors as you see in this video. There's gold, silver, and white. I did have to cut one of them down a little bit to fit one of the tiers. Added a snowflake to the middle tier and then to the bottom tier. Near the deer, I added a couple of Dollar Tree miniature white Christmas trees as well as a white floral pick. And then I added the gem stickers that you guys saw me use earlier on. I just took those and placed them around the edges of each plate, and it looks really pretty this way. It added something else to this because I couldn't figure out exactly what it needed, and I feel like this brought it up a notch. I also added some of those Merry Christmas ornaments you saw me use earlier on to each tier, and I also glued it to the very top of the reindeer. But that is it for this tier tray. You can switch it out for any holiday that you like. It's really easy to do and very versatile. Our next DIY is one I've done on this channel before, but I decided to include it because it's a great piece that you can use for Christmas. You just want to switch it out with some Christmas floral pieces or floral picks. For the centerpiece, you'll need some candlesticks from Dollar Tree as well as these really pretty glass plates. You want at least 2 glass plates and as many candlesticks as you like. You also need a heavy duty glue. I'm using Gorilla Glue. Now you're going to start off with 1 plate, and this will be the base of your centerpiece. You want to flip it upside down and then start gluing your candlesticks on top of that. You can make your centerpiece as tall as you want to make it. I ended up using 4 candlesticks, but if you make it super tall, I recommend splitting up sections. So say you're doing 10 candlesticks, glue 5 of them together and another 5 together, wait for them to dry, and then attach both sets of 5, because if you're going to make this super tall and you're just gluing and not waiting for the glue to dry, because there's so many candlesticks, it might topple over while the glue's trying to dry. So if you're going to go really high with this, wait for the glue to dry in sets. Now the next thing I do is take 1 more plate and I place it at the very top of my centerpiece piece, this is going to be what's going to be holding whatever it is you want to put there. I'm using floral pieces. To really bling this up, I'm going to be using chandelier gems. They are ornaments that I got from Hobby Lobby during Christmas time for dirt cheap when they were on clearance. Now I know it's not Christmas time, so Amazon has these. You just got to Google chandelier gems and you'll be able to find them for inexpensive prices. I got these chandelier crystals for $12.79. There's 20 in a pack, and out of 274 reviews on Amazon, it has 5 stars. Now, you got to bear with me because I want to do a good job of explaining this. If you really do want to use this for your wedding and you have to transport it, you got to make sure that the crystal chandelier pieces aren't going to fall off. So I recommend using a heavy duty glue like A6000, Loctite, a super glue, and hot glue. If you use just a heavy duty glue, normally those don't dry on the spot. It takes a while for them to dry. So while you're making this thing, more than likely your chandelier pieces are going to keep falling off because that glue isn't completely dry. And then if you just use hot glue, well, during transportation, more than likely the chandelier pieces are going to fall off. So that's why I recommend using both a hot glue gun and a heavy duty glue. That way, the hot glue is going to keep the chandelier piece in place while that heavy duty glue dries. And that way the chandelier piece won't just fall off on you during transportation. The way you glue these on depends on the crystal gem that you have. So I have an ornament, there's a string at the top, so that's the way I glued it down. I glued it down onto the plate. But the Amazon ones, they're different. They kind of have like a little clamp that you can actually just hook right onto the plate, or if you want to glue it on, you would glue it where the very top gem is and attach it to the plate that way, just on the edges of the plate. It really just depends on the gem that you have. Also, when you're doing the glue, I recommend doing the heavy duty glue first and then the hot glue, because hot glue just dries more quickly, and if you do it the other way around, the hot glue will probably dry on you by the time you're done applying the heavy duty glue. It really just depends on the materials that you are using, but this is the method I have found success with. Not just hot glue, not just a heavy duty glue, but both of the glues. Now, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be using these plastic bowls that I got from Dollar Tree, and this is actually what I used for my own wedding. As my sister's wedding. This is what's holding the floral centerpiece. I have floral foam inside of there and then the flowers, and I recommend this so much if you are doing floral centerpieces. It's inexpensive. I mean, 4 come in a pack, so super inexpensive. So I go ahead and I glue that down onto the center of the plate. I used my E6000 glue. You really just want to use heavy duty glue with this entire thing, because again, during transportation, if you just used hot glue, more than likely this will just fall apart on you. For my own wedding, I created candelabras using the Dollar Tree candlesticks, and I made sure I used a heavy duty glue because I didn't want them to fall apart on me during transportation, and none of them did. And I was so thankful and happy with just how everything turned out, and I will have a tutorial out eventually for that. Now, to decorate this thing, I got this round mirror from Michael's. Make sure if you buy anything from a craft store, you always use a coupon. Now I go ahead and I place my floral centerpiece on top of this. I made this so if you want to see how to make a floral centerpiece that's not just going to die on you one day, let me know down in the comments below. That's it for this DIY. Like I said, you could switch it out with some Christmas type of floral pieces, and it's just so beautiful. This one, I absolutely love it. So that's it for this year's Dollar Tree Glam Decor DIYs. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, again, make sure you give it a thumbs up, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Bye.